Yes. And we have done huge efforts in the 5 years here. The amount of water line that's laid in the 2 square miles, the water quality, the clarity, the delivery, staffing, training, qualified
The
staff.
good water quality, why the lack of the negative tests?
We're gonna have a negative test in how long?
Yeah.
3 years?
2, I know, at least.
17 wasn't the last
I've
one.
had nothing but crystal clear water.
You can imagine what's all up in here, and so I don't quote unless I refer to some notes.
I think it's 17 was the last time we had a TTH violation, but I could be wrong.
Well, I certainly appreciate all y'all, everyone has done.
Good plan. It's a lot to look at, and a lot of decisions are gonna have to be made.
Should we move on?
Well, you don't have to make a decision on this red cat budget tonight. If you want to come back and talk about some of the things.
Well, I asked someone, can we pass what we agree on? Yeah, do we?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, or do we need to look at it?
Sheet out for all of
Or
it.
do we need to look at the big picture, work out all the details to know if, I hate to. So like I'm telling you right now, that I think the number you've got in there for the roof is not gonna be enough.
No, I'm sure it's not. Yeah.
So, then I don't know how much we're really looking at, but I also have some thoughts about dividing that project probably into
Phases.
2 buildings,
We could do that.
determine, because I think that bill, if I remember right, I've been on a few since then, but I think the building we're not using is in worse shape than the one we are using, but that's the easiest to ignore, and it's still doing damage that's gonna cost us more money in the long run. But, anyway, we can look at all that, so,
If that's the case, it's just gonna get worse and cost us more.
that's right,
If we do go ahead and get it done.
that's right.
At least, my only suggestion is that if you're gonna do the roof, if we can divide it up, if we're gonna do anything with the fire department and decide that's anything that goes through their roof, I'd hate to be punching holes through a new roof to put,
And that's not part of it, just so you know, that's new roof.
okay.
They have a new roof.
That's the one part we don't have to worry about.
Okay.
So it's this building and the library, and the library's in worse shape than this building.
If any part of
They
it-
both need to be
We're gonna
redone.
be putting new stuff up there, I'd rather get that done now and get the roof in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So y'all tell me what you want to do.
I like dividing it up, the roof part. Right, well, I mean, what we can do is we can get bids to put the thing together and then kind of make that, get a real, and it is like Chief Shelley said, there's a lot of stuff that has changed. The prices have gotten insane, but they are coming down some in my world at least. They're not.
Also, I'm sorry, sir. Earlier, someone, I can't remember, but requested Chief to express his needs also.
Yes, so, he's like, nope, that one there.
He probably got it too by now.
I want to commend him for not raising Cain like he should be all the time.
I feel like the situation that we're in is that I can't speak publicly or privately against a proposal that another department head has. It's just not, that's...
But you can speak for your needs.
Yeah, but your needs, regardless of.
I think that...
For you.
I have always heard that 3 or 4 firemen shower in the same shower anyway. We have all kinds of needs. Animal shelter is there, the building's outdated, all of our buildings are outdated and need expansion. It's difficult for me, we're one of the lowest paid, cities in the area. It's hard for me to recruit. I've had an ad in here for the last month. I got 4 police applicants, I got 0 dispatch applicants, and I got 1 clerk applicant that hasn't followed through with the rest of the paperwork. The comment was made that I think the clerk was $13.90 is what we figured a clerk starting pay was, and they said they could make $15 an hour QT and have benefits. It's just, I think something that needs to be looked at as far as infrastructure for this city is the pay and the quality of employee that is going to stay. I think if you look, and I think we retain employees because we create an environment that is positive for them to work in, and we take actions when we find things that, I let them go, we agreed to let them go mud beards. That was a positive thing. I'm not uptight about the tattoo policy. There's all these things that are non-valuable that adds value to the job, but at some point, we're going to have to look at what the difference is in salary compared to the other recruiting agencies in this area. Do we want the bottom of the bucket, the bottom of the barrel, after everyone else has picked what they want? Do we then want our citizens to have to go in and pick the least desirable fruit because that's all we can get? And that's, again, I go back, my people are the most important. We'll operate out of a box, and I understand the fire department's issue. They're exposed to chemicals, and they need to wash those off. We're not in that situation as hardly ever. But salary would be my biggest push if that was a request.
Well, we can't address that with this, but we do have the luxury of that $500 that's in here. And to me, that's one of the things we ought to go ahead and push through now and get that. It's available, it's a low money deal compared to what I think it would help with the morale issue and everything that they've gone through with COVID and everything else. It's something we can do, and I think we ought to go ahead and get that going, working as fast as we can.
And it's just for first responders, understand that.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's for first responders, not city employees as well.
But anyone that's eligible, I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's in favor of that.
Yeah, Chief, the animal shelter, how much longer do you think YMCA is gonna let us use that facility?
It depends on who you talk to. There've been how many, 3, 4 different camp directors since we've been doing this? Do you know how many?
Yeah, there's been at least 3.
It depends,
But that's not who runs that.
right, the individual that is above the camp director says that we're solid there.
Yeah.
But that could change.
Yeah, I don't wanna look at one day we
If they get a new director, they might not want to do that.
we're out of business here.
The problem is you're gonna have to decide on the location. And it'll cost you an arm and a leg to put it down there on that land off on the end.
So it needs to be exactly where it is as long as they'll let us, that's a nice
I
facility.
will, but if you're looking to the future to build one,
Right.
even if it's on Camp Carter, you really have only two locations. One's very expensive, the other's not so expensive, but it's not also liked as to putting it there. I've got meetings, matter of fact, I'm working with Todd now to get a meeting with the mayor, and he'll come and present it to the council anytime. And of course, they're pushing that on Harvard. Council doesn't want that. So that puts us back over on Mandarin. Sir?
Marvin, I think there's some that don't want that.
Yeah, there's some.
Okay, well, I'll back up on that. But we need to consider the location is regardless, wherever. I just know that me and Gordon sat down and put prices to putting it up there on that land, that we spent all that money to have that architect go in there and draw it up for us, and the cost is astronomical of what it would do for us to even put one up there. We'd have to run utilities all the way up there, cutting in the road and all that. It's just very expensive. Great piece of land, but it's very expensive.
Chief, I'd like to talk to you about that tomorrow. You know, you should bring it up here, but I've been meaning to talk to you about that.